morning, guys. On this July 18th, I'm in Dixie National Forest, hiking up to the top of the Aquarius Plateau today. Currently in a forest of Pinus ponderosa. So this Ponderosa Pine are about 8,700 feet, so I think it might be transitioning to the higher elevation. And what's really significant about a Ponderosa Pine, at least to me, is that it's probably the most important plant species in all of Utah that you don't find in the Salt Lake region, where I'm from. Why that is, no one really knows for sure. They certainly thrive just fine when you plant them there. Maybe it has to do with long-term competitive disadvantages and lack of summer precipitation, which you do get more of here. That's definitely an important characteristic of the climate of southern Utah, that we get more precipitation. And also you got some Populus tremuloides, the Quaking Aspen. I gotta be honest, this might not be the most interesting video because it's been very dry this year. And these forests often don't have an abundance of wildflowers. And I don't know too much. It's gonna be a learning experience for me. But I'm really excited still, so let's see what we find. Here's a great plant, one I'm pretty sure you don't find in northern Utah. This is cereum, also known as the wax currant. It's got this classic currant fruit down there, I'm gonna have to try because it's some of the best foraging you can find in my opinion. It's growing amongst these rocks. Cereum. Alongside whatever species of Symphoricarpos this is. Is it rotundifolius? Is it Oreophyllus? Is it something else? Is there a difference between Oreophyllus and rotundifolius? I don't know. I'm going to have to get into that. I tried listing every single plant species I could find in the Salt Lake area, really northern Utah, that I was aware of. And I got a lot, but there were so many things I was just not fully certain on. So I had to just kind of put a footnote saying, I know this is a species that exists, but I don't know exactly what it's called or something it looks very similar to. Anyways, this is Berberis repens as well, one you do find in northern Utah. Relative of Berberis aquifolium. This is creeping Oregon grape as opposed to just a regular Oregon grape. Its fruits do not taste so nice, not until you put them into a jam or something at least. I saw a few things at least. Oh, that must be some Sambucus, though without the inflorescence I can't say exactly what species it is. Could be racemosa or cereum. I'm sure you get both in the region. Okay, well, given our altitude, I presume it was racemosa, but you never know for sure at these altitudes. Alright, let's move on. Now at about 9,100 feet, I'm seeing a few more wildflowers. This is Chaenactis douglasii, also known as the Douglas Dustymaiden. When I do see a wasatch, but I haven't seen there in quite a while. Chaenactis is a pretty widespread genus in the western United States. I mean, I showed you the Chaenactis carpoclinia in Death Valley earlier this year, but they can grow fairly high up as well. And this plant is probably some species of Potentilla, maybe crinita, or perhaps it's what's now called Argentina anserina. I think that one grows in wetter sites, so it's more likely Potentilla crinita. I think that's what it's called. Or maybe it's Serenata. I gotta look up the scientific name again. But yeah, it looks a lot like an astragalus. It's definitely a cliff rose though, and you can see its inflorescence, which hasn't opened up yet, is definitely more like that of something in the rose family than anything you could call an astragalus. And this, I'm pretty sure, is just Hymenoxys richardsonii. Another thing I think is in that Helenium tribe with the Tetraneris, what's it called, Thelosperma subnutum, and the Gaillardias I showed you in my San Rafael swell video and other Colorado Plateau videos. Yeah, otherwise, not a ton of new stuff right now, but we're going to be getting to a Douglas fir forest soon, I think, as we get higher up. It's only 10:15, but we got some ferocious looking clouds developing. Hope I don't get rained on, but I brought a rain jacket just in case. Whew. Just really quick, there's an example of what I think might be Potentilla crinita with its very obvious rose family flowers. Look how cute it is. Also got a really cool Ponderosa Pine there. This gnarly spiral that goes right across its heart. Not super tall, but very thick. It looks like it's 3 feet around. Wow, it looks just like Pleocanthus spinosus. Really shocked to see this growing so high up. I thought it was mostly restricted to the deserts. I mean, that's where I've only seen it before. Can't tell if I hear cows or people up here. Got a bit of an open shrubland here, mostly dominated by, looks like, either very young Chrysophanes bacilliflorus or Gutierrezia cerathrya. A lot less surprising to see up here, to be honest. Let's carry on. Got time to make. Been getting up to about 9,400 feet, but we're finally in a forest that is predominantly Populus tremuloides and Pseudosigemon zeesii, the Douglas fir. Can't remember the specific name of the Rocky Mountain variety of Douglas fir. You need to remember that, but definitely a different life zone than the Ponderosa forest. I'm a little bit shocked at how high up they go sometimes. I'm sure on the Kaibab Plateau, where I'll hopefully be visiting soon, we go up even higher. I'll probably gain some either Rosa woodsii or Rosa nucana as well. Without flowers, a bit, or flowers or the hips, it's kind of impossible to tell. Very spiny, these guys. Maybe it's in response to some of the cattle I've been seeing up here. How naughty. So far it's just that baby though. The aspen forests are very different here than the Wasatch, in that they seem more open. The ground is not covered by shrubs and dense wildflowers, but mostly grasses here, which I'm not going to try to identify what species they are. It'll never work out. That's probably just some Lupinus argenteus or Lupinus argenteus acolyte. I'll try and double check, but it's a very widespread species. Oh, some more cows. It might be the grazing that's having an impact on it, but I don't know for sure. See how quickly he runs away. Oh, it's a mommy. But for little calves, it seems. Where are you? Get him framed, dude. Oh, he's right behind a tree. Okay, I don't want to be trampled by an angry cow, so I'm going to try and give her some space. Got our first great view of the day. Maybe heading up that way some more, but man. Not sure it's going to show up well, but I think I can see Navajo Mountain right about there. I really like that you can see all the different patches of habitat. Like you can see lines of, must be Douglas fir, possibly Engelmann spruce and blue spruce, through the sea of aspen, it would seem, growing a little bit lower in height than the conifers are. Clearly we're in a bit of a aspen sea right now. Okay, let's carry on. We got Juniperus communis now. I'm over 10,000 feet in elevation. I know this plant can grow lower, but it's my first one I've seen. In the state of Utah, this is a very polymorphic plant. Sometimes it grows as trees, sometimes it grows like this, or even lower. It is found all over the northern hemisphere. It's probably one of the most successful, well, it's definitely one of the most successful plants in the world. I'm not sure I'd say it's number one, but it definitely could be. But at least the varieties here you get, compared to the other native junipers, it produces actual needles instead of the scale-like leaves that just make it look like weird green branches. You got like Juniperus osteosperma and the like. I think this forest is actually a bit drier than it might seem. Like, I gotta check the maps to know for sure, but imagine here he goes. I'd be surprised with over 30 inches of precipitation a year. And that's including snow, as if it were melted down, not as it falls. Likely get maybe a couple hundred, maybe not a couple, but at least 100 inches of snow a year, I bet. But it's going to be very dry and powdery, so it compresses easily, and I'm guessing maybe about 25 to 28 inches of rainfall a year. That's a total shot in the dark, but I'll check the maps, and maybe I'll be totally wrong. Man, it feels good to be this high up. Your daily geology scraps are definitely in an area of volcanic derived soils and volcanic rock. It's very clearly volcanic. I couldn't tell you what it is though, but there was a lot of volcanism in Utah during the middle of the Cenozoic. And then this whole plateau region was lifted up. I think this was lifted up relatively late in the formation of the Rocky Mountains. This is the Aquarius Plateau in particular. The Boulder Mountain section of the Aquarius Plateau, not the Thousand Lake section. The highest forested plateau in North America. Who knew? Well, I did. Oh my gosh. That's a big cow. God, I'm sick of these freaking cows. I said before that I'm not a big... I think the West is kind of overgrazed. And it's just kind of crazy that this area is getting so heavily... Well, I don't think too many cows, but I'm sure they're getting their fill here. Oh, please leave me alone, guys. I want to get to the top of this place eventually. You know, we're usually pretty shy and get out of the way, but maybe 1 of 100 times you might get a cow that's looking to fight you, or is going to stand its ground. So you gotta be careful for that, because being trampled by a cow would be an awful way to die. Only at about 10,700 feet in elevation, which is elevation of Chokecherry Point. Not quite there yet, but almost there. And now the forest here is dominated by Picea engelmannii, the Engelmann Spruce. Great tree. You still get a bit of a Populus tremuloides as well, right there. Something going the wrong direction to Chokecherry Point. Interesting. Just gonna go that way and see what happens. Walking through an Engelmann spruce forest, it's really striking how little other plants are growing here and how much lower the species diversity is, and that's really because the needles and bark of conifers in general tend to break down really slow, and when they do, it's quite acidic, full of other unpalatable compounds too. Unpalatable is a funny way to put it. It doesn't make for a good substrate for most plants to grow in, so you usually need some specialists to handle it. And there are a few that do it quite well, but you can really just see very few other plants growing here. Am I even going remotely the right way now? I got no clue. You can hear him at the top. This very windblown place. We got emergent Picea engelmannii amongst this scrub of the Populus tremuloides, and just look at all the red rock you can see below us. What a great sight. I'm glad I made it all the way up here. There's the Henry Mountains in the distance. And if we go over this way, whoa. I changed the contrast a lot. You can maybe just barely make out, but I'm positive it's Navajo Mountain in the distance. Right there. And then there's a bit of a plateau that I know kind of leads up to it. I can't remember what it's called, if it even has a name. And we got wonderful Picea engelmannii forest behind us. I'm probably going to call the video now. I'm sorry I didn't find too many different species to talk about. Look, Rosera speciosa. I can add one more to the list at least. But it really wasn't because I couldn't identify anything. There were a few I struggled with, but it was most because I couldn't find that many different types of plants to talk about. Not a whole lot coming up here, and I'm sure that the, dry weather we've had has not been very helpful, but I'm going to call the video for now. So thanks for watching. See you next time, unless I find anything just going up there a little bit.